This Memorial Day weekend, 89 WLS honors America's heroes who answered the call of duty. Thank you. You are forever in our hearts. Chicago's talk leader, 89 WLS.
One man banana, 60 cups. Oh, flavors and push-ups. 200 ice cream man. Stop me when the bugs divide. See now all my flavors again. Keep satisfied. Yes. Love your ice cream man. Stop me when the
7:35. Awake with Jake. We have some clarification on Jim Neighbors and the Indy 500. He's been singing this song at the Indy 500 since 1987. Just missed 1 year in 2007. He's having heart surgery. That is why he will not be at the Indy 500 this year. However, he will be singing before the Indy 500 this year. They sent a film crew out to Hawaii to get him singing the song. He's 81 years old. So there will be video of him singing the song this year, from this year. But only he'll be in Hawaii when he sang the song. But that's that. 591-8900. Mike in Buffalo Grove. Mike, you're on 89 WLS.
Good morning, Jake.
What's up?
First on TARP, you misspoke. The $400 billion that was collected has never been used to reduce the national debt like it was intended. It's Geithner's slush fund.
Well, I never said it was anything about reducing the debt, but back in
my days when I worked for KPMG, we had to read that. I was in the financial service industry for the last 23 years and still am. And the way it was TARP was structured, all monies collected was supposed to reduce the national debt.
Well, let me ask you this: the money that went out for TARP, did banks or most of the banks pay it back?
No. There's still several hundred billion out there, or not several hundred, about $100 billion.
But did the majority of the money get paid back by the banks that got the money?
Over 80%.
So 80% gave money back.
Right.
Okay.
But there's still an outstanding amount out there, which they don't even account for anymore. And issues like Maxine Waters' husband's bank, who he was the chairman of, received TARP money, which he wasn't eligible, and her sanctioning for doing what she did with TARP has never been addressed. She was supposed to be sanctioned over 2 years ago. And the corruption on this whole TARP is beyond control. Now, getting to your health insurance, I worked with the Internal Revenue a couple of years ago on designing a plan during Obamacare's creation of how to pay for it through insurance. To the insurance companies where there was a change in their tax rate, the way they compute reserves and the way they compute losses. And the insurance companies could have paid for it, and it went all the way up to Geithner's desk, and he nixed it. So as far as the American people are, they've been buffooned by our Congress.
That wouldn't be the first time.
And as far as, what it's going to be, like I said, I've been in the insurance industry for 23 years. Most large companies are going to balk at keeping health insurance for their employees. They're going to pay the $2,500 opt-out and let the employees go into the Obamacare problem.
And then it's a big problem. I understand that,
right,
Mike.
Right. And there's 40. So if this whole Obamacare was to create health insurance for the 45 million that don't have health insurance, which are probably still the same 45 million that are on food stamps and getting free entitlement, that's 45 million more votes that are going to swing this election.
I know. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
And as I said before, I don't know how many times I've said it, if the whole deal was to get the 40 million or 45 million or 35 million or whatever the number is, so many numbers have been thrown out, if it was so urgent to get those people health coverage, not health coverage, health insurance, then when this thing passed a couple of years ago, why didn't it happen immediately? Why are they making them wait till 2014? And the reason they're making them wait till 2014 is because this whole thing is going to lose money because they need to take in 10 years' worth of revenue to equal 7 years' worth of money going out. And Mike just said, if you have to buy your own health insurance and you can't afford the health insurance because it's so expensive, and that's when the mandate comes, you have to buy it. But if you can't afford it, they're going to fine you for not buying it, for not buying something you can't afford. And you're still going to be without the health insurance. It just goes around. Candace on the south side. Candace, you're on 89 WLS.
Good morning. Listen, everybody, I had a boss from Canada, and he had an Achilles heel problem. He had private insurance, as a lot of people do with money up in Canada. He didn't dare go to the socialized medicine route, okay? And he also came down here shopping for surgeons, not Canada. Okay, the second thing is that right now my deductible went from $1,000, that's when Obama was voted in, to $5,000, okay? And so what I do now, and I have some soft tissue damage, I'm in physical therapy, I just go straight up to the doctor and say, look, I'm not paying this deductible, and let's just work together directly. And personally, people, if everybody had a relationship with their doctor like that, where the doctor just wants to get paid whatever the insurance company would pay him, so he's billing half, okay, you wouldn't be having the health problems that you have. You'd be more in tune with your body. You would care more about your health. You would know more what's going on. You would watch what you put into your mouth. I don't believe in health insurance unless it's like for cancer, unless it's like catastrophic. I want to get rid of my insurance. It's shackling me.
See, that's the way it used to be.
I don't believe in it.
And the problem with health insurance, the way it's gotten over the years, people have no idea what it costs. All they know is if they're not paying for it out of their own pocket, if they're getting it from their work or whatever, they're not careful how they spend the money. And if they had to watch how they were spending the money, like you have to spend when because you don't have, you have the $5,000 deductible. You're right. People, I think, would be, more careful.
They'd walk a little bit more. But here's another thing I want to explain to people. There's no free lunch. I took a SHRM class. It was just for HR that taught all about benefits. And the one thing that the teacher said is there's no free lunch. If you go to the doctor a lot this year, it goes on the back end for next year, meaning your deductible goes up. Okay? If it doesn't go up for you, it goes up for your employer. And then it spreads to everybody else. So people don't understand that. People don't understand that. So there's no free lunch whatsoever in health insurance. So you should just pay for it out of pocket unless it's something catastrophic. And that's just the cost of living. And if you don't want to be high, then don't be a piggy and be healthy.
Thank you, Candace. Bye.
Thanks.
Because somebody explained that to me a long time ago about with the health things, like say you're not feeling good. And all you really need to do is go to your local, drugstore and get something over the counter, but it would cost you, say, $10 out of your pocket. Well, somebody said, I don't want to pay $10 out of my pocket, so you know what? I'll go to the doctor, I'll get a prescription, my health will pay for it, and that you get the doctors will be paid by the insurance, and then the prescription will be paid by the insurance, saving you the $10, but adding X amount of dollars, I don't know how much, to the health insurance. And the rates keep going up. That's how that happens. Art in Bridgeview. Art, you're on 89 WLS.
Hey, Jay, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you sure that envelope wasn't addressed to Tyrone Hartford? You know what I suggest everybody do that gets that? If you still got a Monopoly game left, just send Monopoly money to him. He'll probably still count that as total, contributions received or whatever.
I get something every day asking for $3.
Maybe he just assumes everybody from Illinois is going to vote Democratic, which is complete nonsense. I think this year, or this election, that more people are going to tell him to, stick it and vote otherwise.
You know what? I really believe the campaign is geared towards the stupid.
Oh, sure it is.
And, back when he first took office, one of his big pledges was about earmarks, correct?
Yep.
The first budget was the Bush budget back in, I think it was February, March, right around there. And it was full of earmarks. And I was surprised when the President Obama didn't insist that Congress get rid of all the earmarks, because that was his big campaign deal. And he didn't. And the earmarks went through, and it didn't make any sense to me. But now, what I've heard this week about, the rate of growth of his, administration versus Bush, he was just running up the tab on the Bush administration to keep the numbers up. So when he does the rate of growth, it's not as bad.
All right.
It's just it's hard to believe they're
Well, how many days is it now without a budget?
over 1,000. And he hasn't had a budget, so technically he can say, well, you know what? He hasn't really spent a lot of money because he hasn't had a budget.
All right.
It's not his.
All right, well, you have a happy Memorial Day, and thank vets, and don't drink too much.
Sorry for depressing you, Art. Bye. You know, the other day, I saw this, and I try to avoid watching the news. I really do. I go with the Duck Dynasty. I want to see what Uncle Si is up to. You know, shows like even watching South Beach Tow. Really, you just have to be brain dead to watch that. But I'm going for that. Just, I have to. Because the stuff I see happening out of Washington is just, okay. Congress, the Senate, they're on this, you know, the whole war on women? They're on this equal pay deal for women. They're going to introduce this legislation where women should make as much money as men. Now, I know the arguments. I've seen the economic arguments, why it's different. Women drop out of the workforce to raise families, then they get back in, so they lose, the steady increase. I've seen all those economic arguments. Forget that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Senate now. They want to do this legislation. It's about time, they showed Durbin, they showed Reid and the president and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I watch a lot of TV. This is like a rerun. I'm like, have I seen this before? I'm sure I saw this before, right? So I go back, broke my own rules about not getting, and sure enough, in January of 2009, President Obama, his first bill that he signed was the Lilly Ledbetter Act, which was the equal pay for women. And I read his remarks, the whole deal, this and that, and I'm like, wait a minute. This stuff the other day in the Senate, they put the legislation through. They already have the legislation. It's there. There's a law. It's been around for over 3.5 years now. They're doing it again. They're just going to put another name on it. It's the same law. It's a rerun. The war on women, it's a rerun. Lilly Ledbetter, look it up, January 2009. Exactly what they're doing now is what they already passed. 7:48, back after this on 89 WLS.
The NATO summit is behind us.
We don't want your medals. We want to give them back.
And 89 WLS was there every step of the way.
Obama said the protesters should realize freedom of speech and assembly are what NATO is all about.
Giving you everything you needed to know when you needed it most.
Chief McCarthy, you're responsible for all those injuries.
One station making history every day.
Thousands were expected, but only hundreds turned out.
Chicago's talk leader.
And let's be very clear about that.
89 WLS.
I'm Ashley, a pediatric nurse. I don't have one screaming baby. I have a dozen. It's a labor of love, but it's hard. Car shopping? Just the opposite. Motorworks BMW showed me how a certified pre-owned BMW was one of the smartest purchases I could make. Each vehicle is thoroughly inspected by a BMW trained technician and includes a protection plan of up to 6 years or 100,000 miles. That made it a no-brainer. Nobody works like Motorworks to earn my business. I discovered I like being babied.
Motorworks BMW in Barrington has a large selection of BMW certified pre-owned vehicles. Each has undergone a comprehensive certification process for your peace of mind, and attractive financing options are available. They're all online at motorworksbmwbarrington.com. See why BMW is the #1 selling luxury brand in certified pre-owned vehicles.
Nobody works like Motorworks to earn your business.
Right now at Pearl Vision, when you buy a pair of glasses, we'll give you a second pair free, up to $250. That's 2 pairs for the price of 1. Because we know these days every dollar counts. But that doesn't mean you should neglect taking care of your eyes. sight shouldn't feel like an extravagance. It is, after all, life's greatest sense, which is why we're offering this great buy one, get one free deal. So whether you need a new prescription, a backup pair of glasses, or just a different look, there's no better time to come to Pearl Vision. Visit pearlvision.com to find the store nearest you. With so many convenient locations, it's easy to find one in your neighborhood. The Pearl Vision buy one, get one free offer ends soon. So hurry in today for your free pair. Pearl Vision. Clearly different.
Second pair value up to $250. Valid prescription required. Valid only at participating U.S. locations. See store for details. Some restrictions apply. Offer ends 6/30/2012.
Spring is here, and if you're like me, you're looking forward to barbecuing, parties, and just being outdoors. But you want your house to look its best when your company arrives. It's Wendy Snyder here, and it's just as important that the exterior of your house looks as good as the interior. Take a look at the outside of your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, or fading? A fresh coat of paint not only improves your home's appearance, but it protects your home from the harsh elements. But painting your home's exterior is not a job you want to tackle yourself. Don't spend your time climbing ladders, scraping and staining. CertaPro's skilled professionals are fast, clean, and get the job done right, on time and on budget. CertaPro makes it easy, from paint selection to finished product. I was so impressed with how well they cleaned up after they painted my home. Call CertaPro Painters today, 1-800-GOCERTA. Remember, Certa with a C. That's 1-800-GOCERTA. CertaPro Painters, because painting is personal.
Starting Memorial Day on History.
Hatfields be damned!
An epic 3-night television event.
Come on, I'm asking for my boy. Your boy stabbed my brother and then shot him.
The story of the backcountry feud that became an American legend.
Hatfield!
Academy Award winner Kevin Costner.
So when's it end?
Golden Globe nominee Bill Paxton.
When there's no blood left to be spilled.
Hatfields and McCoys. The feud begins Memorial Day at 9/8 Central on History.
Patrick Cadillac announces a Memorial Day sales event. Right now is the best time to get a great deal on a brand new Cadillac. Take advantage of low lease payments on CTS and SRX. Plus, special low financing is available. Click PatrickCadillac.com.
An ABC News update is just minutes away. 89 WLS and online at WLSAM.com.